was the first panel discussion for today. It's the day 3 of Internet 2.0 conference. Now we will be having our first keynote. And the topic is Beyond the Buzz, Marketing Web3 for Mass Adoption. And our speaker is U-Chyung Lim. Please, all of you, give a big round of applause to U-Chyung Lim, the Chief Business Officer of Orion.
A very complicated morning today. So, as I was planning for today, I wasn't just today. I was finding perfect sleeping position so I could get the sun in my face, so I could wake up in time. And because I had to be extra early, I had a thought: what if I fluff my pillow, right, to achieve the ideal height of firmness so I can wake up feeling fresh and fully rested. And despite having coffee and breakfast, I was determined to get my money's worth at the hotel's free breakfast. So I needed more time. What I did was, I also planned for my night so I could sleep early and I could wake up even earlier. Guess what happened? My body clock decided to cooperate and woke me up at the time I went to. Okay, yeah. Oh, I didn't know I sounded very soft. But is it on? Ah, perfect. Yeah, so so I had a complicated morning, that's what I was saying. And guess what? So it worked to my favor. I woke up earlier than I thought. It's a small win. But actually, all of this didn't quite happen. I was just making things up. The truth is, I just used the alarm clock. The alarm on my phone, normal clock, right? The alarm on my phone. And we human beings love to overcomplicate matters. You know it's not necessary, but you do it anyway. Why? Maybe we fear simplicity. According to psychology, we often equate simplicity to the lack of depth in simpler solutions that may actually miss its full potential. And I guess that's where we are right now with Web3 and blockchain. We overcomplicate stuff. The technology itself, I would say, is an ingenious creation by some of the smartest brains on earth, and I'm talking about the developers. But the problem today, the hurdle today, isn't, it's not the technology, it's not that we don't have that, it's how the technology is presented. These guys, the developers, they are the testament to the word revolutionary, because they've done something that no one thought was possible. In just a few short years, they revolutionized the internet. So I went from working in the banks to telecommunications in some of Asia's largest retail banks and telecommunication companies, and then to Web3, where I am today. And I realized something very, very peculiar as I was making this transition. And that is, I realized people do not understand newer technology as well as we thought they could. So, to put this on a personal level, it was way easier back then for me to explain what I was doing in the bank compared to what I'm doing now in Web3. My friends, for example, would understand what I did in the bank. But try to speak Web3 blockchain, it comes rocket science. So, this is a sector where getting basic information can feel like deciphering an alien language, very similar to my overcomplicated morning routine. It was just as simple as setting an alarm would actually wake me up. I believe clear and straightforward marketing messages would be the key to bringing Web3 to the masses. So I was going to say, the problem is not the technology, but the problem is how the technology is being presented. And Web3 and blockchain is at a stage right now where it needs to be simplified. It needs to educate, it needs to engage, and it needs to make a difference. So when I first started my career in blockchain, I was just selling listing packages. Simple, straightforward, and I almost never needed any blockchain knowledge. I mean, life was a bliss, right? It was so simple. Then I was in touch with some of the biggest decentralized projects in the industry. That was when I had to start to learn the ropes. So, to put it simply, my first time using a decentralized wallet, I lost money doing it. So, why did I have funds on the Ethereum chain, but when I tried to use it on BNB, I couldn't? It's money, right? If I have money in my pocket today, if I travel to a different country, all I need to do is change the currency or probably just use my credit card. Oh, it's because I had to bridge it. What's that even mean for regular people like you and I? And I made this as well. So, the whole fiasco actually made me think. We're living in an age where sending a message across the globe literally takes a fraction of a second. But getting basic information in Web3 and blockchain feels like pulling teeth. It's just complicated and very much unnecessarily so. Now, let's consider 2 success stories in the industry that I believe will pave the path forward. On Chainlink, by focusing on the tangible benefit of your smart contracts connected to real-world data, Chainlink exemplifies how to communicate a complex technical solution in an accessible manner. It's not about the technology. It's never about the technology. It is always about solving real-world problems. For Chainlink, it's about securely connecting smart contracts with off-chain data. So this problem-solving approach has helped Chainlink resonate with the broader audience, showcasing its practical utility beyond just the blockchain community. Then with Ethereum. Now, Ethereum is, I would say, arguably the most popular chain when it comes to decentralized applications. But if you use buzzwords, decentralized applications, notice that when you say the word computer, everyone is hooked. They love the idea. Maybe that's why everyone's putting on Ethereum. So catches imagination is simple. A very simple and powerful metaphor like this catches imagination, makes people excited, and that is something that we're looking forward to. These stories, Chainlink and Ethereum prove that clarity in communication can indeed bridge the gap between sophisticated technologies and their wider audience. Now, imagine if all of these bridging, cross-chain swap, you name it, were all on a simple Web3 platform. A place where everything is straightforward and transparent. And of course, you don't have to chase customer service for an answer. And that is if there's even customer service in the first place, especially in the decentralized space. So a place where marketing isn't about bombarding you with jargons, but talking to you directly, clearly, making sure you get what you need without all the necessary, or rather unnecessary hassle. I mean, that's the dream, right? But here's the catch. For Web3 to get there, for it to really make a difference, it needs to cut through the noise. It is to talk to you like a friend explaining something over coffee, not to bombard you with jargons and technicalities, but simple, straightforward conversations. The thing is that in Web3, with all these groundbreaking technologies and ideas, which is superb. The thing is that if everyday people like you and I cannot wrap our heads around it, then we're literally missing the bullseye. So as we dive into the world of Web3, let's remember it's not just about building the cool stuff. It's about making sure people understand your cool stuff and then they use your cool stuff, and that's all that matters. It's just like how I wish using a DeFi wallet was as simple as setting an alarm on my phone. Now, it appears to me that most Web3 projects talk about the latest technologies and market them using technical languages. Let's use an example of Orion, where I'm from. It would sound like this. Orion harnesses blockchain interoperability to aggregate data through smart contracts for seamless access into multiple sources, centralized and decentralized, offering users access to real-time codes and transactions into a Web3 interface, ensuring privacy and control without direct intervention of a centralized entity. I almost lost my breath doing that. Rather, a real marketer would probably just say, Orion connects you to the best codes across the globe with privacy and ease, all for one seamless Web3 gateway. Which version do you think has any better? I want to say it's the first. So, in my day-to-day, I speak with many different projects and their marketing teams. However, I realize that marketing in Web3 is oftentimes very different from the kind of marketing we use in Web2. Marketing in Web2 is brand-centric, it's interesting, it tells stories, it engages more. Web3 is mainly about complexity. So one is straightforward, one is technical, it's complex, it's confusing. And I can understand why this happens, because I had the opportunity to watch some of the best brains in Web2 and Web3 marketing at work. What I saw was enlightening. I'm going to show it to you. So, in the brain of a Web2 marketer, we have a storyteller, the parrot. He can learn the words, he can mimic sounds he hears, and probably the twist add light and colors to every story, making all tales feel refreshingly new. And then the brain of a Web3 marketer with this guy, the beaver, the jargon jogger. He's industrious by nature, and he keeps building a narrative around emerging technologies like all his other beaver peers do. And he shares his passion with anyone who's willing to listen to him. Not sure if they even understand what he's trying to say. By nature, the storyteller would be happily singing away while the jargon juggler just keeps working and working and working. And it's very difficult for him to actually craft a message that actually, can stay relevant all the time, because for this guy, he needs very deep technical knowledge to be able to do that. But what if we can teach the beaver the secrets of the parrot? What if we can teach you how to engage it? Or rather, what if they work together? That's probably how it's going to look like. So, if we put them together, the goal isn't to dilute the technical marvels of Web3, but rather finding a common language. A common language that resonates with everyone, from tech enthusiasts to my grandmother. And that is where brand positioning statement comes in handy. So, if you think about it, whether Web2 or 3, we live in an era of abundance. If you want to buy a car, for example, there's so many different brands to choose from. If you look at fashion, there's so many different brands. Well, or you have many different search engines to use, or rather, many different blockchain technologies that can simplify your life. But the real question is, why do we exist? Why do we do what we do? This question actually remind me of a discussion I had in a team of what we're going to do next. While we were debating what technologies we want to use, we also asked ourselves, what are we actually doing? Yep, Web3 is now for everyone. And I'm telling you, if I tell you guys that with us, Web3 is now for everyone. I'm going to resonate with the remaining 7.55 billion people in this world. That's right. In the grand scheme of things, we have a global population of 8 billion people, and Web3 users hold around 431 million. If I were to put this into the time perspective, you'll see what I'm talking about. Oops. So it appears that the slides are not working the way I wanted to, but I'll just verbalize it. So if every person is represented by 1 second on the clock, it takes 253 years and 6 months to finish counting each and every person. And Web3 users at 431 million, it will be 13 years and 6 months. Look at the magnitude. We're comparing 5 generations of people who would have lived to the lifetime of a domestic dog. And look at the comparison. It's like, blockchain today is like trying to find Vatican City on the world map, but you cannot find it because it's way too small. But it has a significant global influence on religious affairs. But this comparison, however humorous, underscores a critical point. If Web3 wants to achieve mass adoption, like most of the projects that I've spoken to who wants to onboard the next billion users, we need to learn to simplify from our Web2 counterparts. For all its innovation potential, Web3 remains a dot on the vast map of technology. Not because it lacks potential, but like all of us, we've overcomplicated it. We've built a system so advanced. Oh man, you guys have to work on the slides a bit. We've built a system so advanced that entering it feels like deciphering an ancient code written in a forgotten language. I wish I could show you, but it's not worth it. Yet, what if I told you that the complexity we fear and often navigate around in Web3 isn't a bug, but a marketing message waiting to be simplified? It's just like how I could just use the snooze button on my phone to wake me up. Web3 is the present and the future that we're living in. Only that is hidden behind layers of complexity and a broken presentation. So, let's consider for a moment what Web3 aims to achieve. Accessibility, efficiency, and empowerment. These are not lofty ideals, but basic consumer needs. It's just like desiring a good breakfast without a hassle or simplified user experience. This is not a distant dream but a close reality, one that we as pioneers of the space are building towards. And I believe the marketing roadmap of every blockchain project should transform from just merely deciding what growth activities to do. What if we do this instead? This is where a marketing plan comes in hand. We analyze the situation. We want to know who we're up against. We want to know our market. We want to know if we are even relevant. Do people even need what we do today? Then we position ourselves, we set objectives, we understand our audience, because if we're shouting, no one's listening. So, to demystify Web3, we must adopt a dual approach. Oh man. Gosh. Okay. I gotta calm down because my slides keep missing and I wonder why. So, we must adopt a dual approach. First, prioritize user education through storytelling that connects with everyday experience. Imagine explaining blockchain like a digital ledger. Not very different from the shared grocery list on the fridge, only that it is for financial transactions. And use visual aids and interactive tools that break down complex concepts like how Duolingo actually teaches languages through simple and engaging activities. By applying these strategies, we can transform Web3's image from something that is only understood by a few to revolutionary technology that is embraced by many. This is how we explain gravity. I think I caught your attention right there. I want to take Apple as an example because we all know Apple. And when Apple launched the iPhone, it emphasized its simplicity, elegance, and the transformative experience of using the iPhone. They focus on how the product can change lives rather than the technical specifications. An iPhone, an iPod, a phone, and an internet communicator. These are not three separate devices. This is one device, and we are calling it iPhone. Today, Apple is going to reinvent the phone. Nice. What if Steve Jobs would have said, behold the iPhone, a synergistic convergence of media consumption, telephone, and web access with a paradigm-shifting multi-touch interface. I believe all of you will be using an Android now. We can relate to so many successful marketing beyond buzzwords. Nike just do it. It's not a sports apparel company, it's a company that celebrates athletics. Dropbox your stuff anyway. Tesla, accelerate the world to sustainable energy. Figma, design prototype, iterate together. All these examples, while they may seem very, very simple, but behind all this simplicity is actually a structured thought process that aims to simplify the complex concepts. Now, Nike may do shoes, they may do t-shirts, they may do whatever they want to do. Even if they make a car, for example, you know they are celebrating great athletics. And this is it. Marketing isn't telling you, it really isn't about telling you how superior my technology is. It is about telling you what it does for you. And the journey to mass adoption isn't about glorifying blockchain technology. It is about telling a story. Okay. It is about telling a story that resonates, making it efficient, accessible, and suited for the digital age that we live in today. And as we navigate this path, let's remember the lesson from my complicated morning routine. Sometimes the simplest messages are not just most effective, they are revolutionary. By simplifying our message, we're not diluting the technology. In fact, we are amplifying its greatness, its complexity, and showing that Web3 becomes a tool for empowerment, a platform for innovation, and a pathway to a more equitable digital future. Today, we can create a story around our Web3 projects that even my grandmother could relate to. Then we are on the right path. Together, let's embrace the challenge of simplification not as a hurdle, but as a journey beyond the bus to market Web3 for mass adoption. I'll take any questions. I'm glad I spoke so well. Oh, yeah.
Currently in the field is looking at are all those complex words like staking, liquidity pool, etc. So how do you cater the needs of different users under the same storytelling marketing strategy?
Very, very interesting question. As you asked this question, the first thing that came into my mind was a project that we're also working on the side, and the tagline that we come up with it is to simplify DeFi so much that even my grandmother can buy a Bitcoin. How do we do it? Like, it's very simple. Do you know how your money is made? Do you need to know?
No,
You only need to know how to use it, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Leave the complexity to us. Telling a story goes beyond technical jargons. Today, if I were to use jargons like cross-chain swaps, what else is smart contracts, you know what it really does? It makes me feel smart. That's all. But the thing is that to really communicate all of this to the end user, to address your question, is to say it simply. Why? Like you ask a good question, and I'll really want to pose it back to you, like, why do you want to use DeFi in the first place? I hope that answers your question.
So can you repeat the question again? What abuse?
Well, why do you want to use blockchain for finance in the first place?
Well, because it's more secure, it's quicker, and it's simply just decentralized. So I found my asset more. I just found that more. It's better as a better embodiment of my value in the digital space.
You have answered your own question. You have given yourself a story. You have not mentioned any technical jargons at all. Kudos to you.
Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for the presentation. It's insightful, actually. Some ideas were very simple, yet very effective. I like what you said about focusing on the problem and or what the real life need for that solution be, and then describe it to a techie or a noob or whoever, so they understand if it's for them and if it fulfills their need. I also love the where you mix the beaver with the bird, and you came up with something. I don't know what you call it, but that new creature. But the thing is that how, in your opinion, how do we bypass this jargon? Because nowadays everybody has an app or some kind of technology, and they're trying to push it to the market, and the market is flooded with advertisement. Some of them are smarter in marketing, but they have very poor products. Some of them have great products, but they are poor in marketing. So how do we do that? I mean, you have put the analogy of mixing the story with the jargon. How do you do that? I mean, for example, the jargon that went around that because of political situations that some Chinese companies are going to overtake the world with their 5G technology, so we have to ban them. And suddenly one of the phones is falling down and others. Or some other companies like Apple, for instance. People go there to buy their products without even knowing what is the product. So they just lined up to buy it because of the strong message. And most of their new products are, except the Apple something, the batch on the eye, there is nothing innovative. It's always, they're just repeating. So how do you do that? How do you bypass this jargon? Because I think it's very crucial. And being in the startup industry myself, I think this is a very important point. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. I think first of all, I need to break your question into two parts. Now you asked a question, how do we bypass all these jargons? Bypassing the jargon through simplification of the messages and having regulations in place are two different things. You go to China today, you go to US today, you probably have no access to centralized exchanges without a VPN. That is a separate matter. Now, if I were to come up with a technology that's so complex, I don't know what it means. But if the government uses it, I'm good, I can use it. That's what it means by adoption. But what I was trying to say is all about the branding. Look around all of us today. Like, we're all dressed in a certain way. And why is that? Because the way we dress today represents who we are, speaks to us. It's a representation of myself. People who ride Harley Davidson bikes, if you realize they'll have beards, they're all big. I wonder why. It's just part of the brand. How we do all this, first of all, is that we need to understand the cool stuff that you have built. What is it for? Like my example earlier, I lost money using a decentralized wallet, which really happened. I didn't understand the concept. What was bridging? I don't know. Spent 2 hours trying to learn it from the customer service of a centralized exchange. But it won't just bring my money back. So the thing is, how are you going to simplify what it means? Like bridging, for example. What is bridging? Oh, because Ethereum and BNB chain do not talk. So we need to find a way for them to talk. Oh, that's why. So you've got two highways, right? One highway leads to city A, the other highway leads to city B. We're probably not going to meet because they're two separate destinations. Can we build a bridge across the two cities then? Of course we can. So I think, to answer that question, a lot of times we think, when we want to sell the technology, we think from the technological aspect. That's why I said, when we make a product, why do you want to study the situation? Why do you want to analyze it? It's to really make us think. Are we making something that the people need? Are we reinventing the wheel? Because we don't want to reinvent the wheel. Why do we want to do that? It's so difficult. I want to pinpoint the need, and I just want to do that. Simple, easy, fast. That's what it's really, that's what it's all about. If you start to think simple, what this does, let's just say what it does. What this does, it just projects. And I don't know how it works, but it just works. That's all that matters. And what this does for me is that I get to present what it does for you, so you can see all the all-nighters that I've put. That's just really it. I hope I answered your question, sir. So if I have no more questions, the screen says time's up. I thank each and every one of you for listening to me.